This program is brought to you by the following sponsors.
What is going on, guys? Jay Shy here with another video, and happy Valentine's Day to all of you guys. Hope you guys are celebrating out there, buying up gifts and all that stuff. First things first, I have to thank all of you guys for a lot of the advice and help that you guys gave me on Persona 3. It was really fun. It reminded me of back in my teenager days when I would talk to all my friends about some of the games we were playing, and we were always throwing information back at one another, like, oh, well, you can do this, and oh, well, I did this, and they were like, oh, well, you shouldn't do that, and it was really fun, and I really enjoyed it. And I think I'm gonna turn it into a kind of like a thing on my channel where I'm playing some games and I'm asking you guys information on it, because it was a lot of fun communicating with a lot of you guys. So it's Valentine's Day, and I beat Persona 3 Fest last night. Yeah, I got some words. I got some words for the final boss, and for the ending. But let's talk about Nyx. First thing I want to talk about is his design. Nyx is a pretty neat design. I mean, me personally, he looks like a final boss. He looks intimidating, which sort of threw me off when I was fighting Nyx. Was he doesn't it's not a woman. that kind of threw me off. I don't know why I pictured in my head that Nyx was a female for some reason, and for some reason a lot of people thought this too. Like, I wasn't the only one. A lot of other people thought that Nyx was a female before they fought the final boss, and it wasn't, and it kind of threw me off a little bit. Another thing that threw me off about Nyx was I pictured Nyx being arrogant, very extremely arrogant, and it wasn't. Like, and I think that was the coolest thing about the final boss in Persona 3, was it wasn't anything that I expected. I did expect it to have wings, though. I did expect that. I like, there is something about a final boss having wings that just, strikes fear into you for some apparent reason. If it looks very angelic, or not so much demon-like, but very angelic but dark angelic, there's something about it that just like you just look at it and you're just like, whoa, this is gonna be tough. But I can honestly say I like Nyx's design. The only thing I could say I don't like about Nyx's design was the sword. Nyx feels like he shouldn't have a sword, like more of like a scythe or something, that's more abstract, or something that's just not. It's just a sword. And you just like, it's a sword. I mean, the Harbinger of Death has this sword. I mean, he has other moves that are really annoying, like I don't remember what it's called, but it's like a reflect kind of thing, and he doesn't really do much to you. He just kind of puts up this barrier and you can't hit him real well. But yeah, I mean, other than that, his design is really interesting. Anyway, let's get into the boss fight. There's a couple of things that I really like about the boss fight, and there's things about the boss fight that made it very annoying. And the thing is that it's not really the boss that makes it, but I'm gonna get into that. First thing, let's talk about the strategy that I kind of figured out to beat him. Well, it's not so much the strategy to beat him. It's more of like, he has a cool strategy when you're fighting, which I really did enjoy. But it just seems to drag on. I like the fact that he's the only boss that does this. He constantly changes his arcana, which is really cool. For all the people who don't know what that means, is that Nyx has the ability to change up his strategy. I mean, it feels like you're fighting a different boss like 21 times, because there's 21 arcana in the game. So, and you have to fight all 21 of them. every arcana that he changes, which is the cards, he gets a new strength, and he gets a new like repel or nullify or weakness or something like. Actually, he doesn't have any weaknesses. He's just less, he has less strength towards this, and he does different. And it was cool because every time you lowered his health down to 0, he just changes his arcana. And that part I like. I like that part. I like the fact that he changes up his strategy. I just don't like that it takes so long. It takes forever to beat this guy. It takes forever, and I couldn't stand it. Halfway through the fight, I was just like, I kind of just want it to be over, because at some point down the road, it's just not fun anymore. It just doesn't get fun. It just turns into like this tedious drag. Because like once you figure out his strategy for that one arcana, you're just like, please just die. Like, just die. But I was just like, for some reason, I feel like there's a harder arcana to it. And I just kind of stuck with it. But he just takes forever. I started the boss fight yesterday, I think around, I'm not joking, I'm not exaggerating about that. I think I started the boss fight around 6:30 yesterday. 6:30 p.m., that's Eastern time, right? I didn't beat the final boss until about 8:40 yesterday. And a lot of you guys are going to be like, why did it take you so long? I am getting to that. That is going to be the con of this. I'm telling you all the pros right now. That's going to be the con of what I'm going to tell you. Next is you have to figure out a strategy to beat this guy, which is for every boss. And the strategy that I figured out to beat Nyx very easily in his final phase, which is 22, I think. How many cards? Yeah, there's 21 cards, and I think you only go through 20. There's 20. I'm looking at my framed Persona cards, my Arcana card. You go through the 21 frames and then phases, and then no, it is 20. Yeah. So you go through the first 20, and then when you reach 21, which is the last Arcana, he's just even tougher. I mean, he's not so much as more tougher. He has a higher defense. Like his health just drops slower, and you're just kind of like, oh my god, please! I just want this fight to kill. And my eyes are watering, Alex. If you don't notice that, okay. But you just kind of want it to be over towards the end, but he gets higher defense, and he gets this move, which is very annoying. It's a very annoying move because you can't reflect it, and you can't like the only thing you can do is boost up your defenses large enough to the point where you're not taking as much damage. But he gets 2 consecutive turns, which is kind of normal for any Mega 10, boss. Usually they get multiple turns. He gets 2. The strategy that I figured out is you basically have to do something to Nyx that allows him to waste a turn, dispelling, like decodging himself. You need to either bring down his defense or bring down his hit and evasion. Mostly what you want to do is bring down his defense, so that he'll use Decodge on himself. It makes him waste a turn, so then he'll use another turn to just hit you once. Instead of, if you don't do that, then he just hits you twice with this one freaking move that you can't block. And it just brings you down, which means that you have to waste some of your turn and time just healing your party back to health. Now, with that said, and you basically willing the boss down, what made the fight, what I figured out, what kind of makes me deal more damage to him, is me personally, I used Loki throughout my whole boss fight. And I took a lot of you guys' advice, and I stocked up on a bunch of Soma. So basically, whenever my whole party's health and SP, like spirit power, was going down, I just used Soma on the whole party to bring us back to full health. I carried a ton of those. So that definitely helped. attack mirrors and magic mirrors. Those things definitely help. Not so much the attack mirror in the final fight. That did nothing. It stayed up the whole fight because that move that he does. It's basically a very tough. It's a very hard hitting physical attack that I would say drops your party's HP 30%. And he can do it twice consecutively in a row. And if any, I think if all three characters, which didn't happen, if they get hit with criticals, then he gets a chance. So that kind of sucks. That means he can wipe you out hits, but that didn't happen. Which one of the interesting things is he doesn't change his Arcana after in the final phase. Like he doesn't. He just hits you really hard. But he has like that reflect move that he does, which is really annoying. But it's not annoying when you think about it. It's just stalling time for you to get your party prepared for when he brings it back down, which I enjoyed. I liked the final phase because it just meant that I was closer because the fight was just taking too long. But anyway, like I was saying, I was telling you guys about my strategy to beat him. That you basically have to have him waste a turn on himself. Now, onto the issues with the fight, the cons. I'm going to say this, and I am not I'm not boasting myself or anything like that. A lot of you guys can probably understand where I'm coming from with this, especially when it comes to Persona 3 FES. Nyx is not a hard boss. It's not. The hardest final boss in that game is your party. I felt like throughout the whole fight that I was fighting Nyx alongside I was fighting my members, my teammates, my AI. Mostly Yukari. Mostly Yukari, man. Oh my god, Yukari. First it was Mitsuru, now Mukari. Come on, Takibug, get up on your game. There is this should be a separate video, but I'm not doing it. That'll be dumb. Yukari. This is another thing that frustrates me about Persona 3 FES. First it was Mitsuru and Marikiri. Now it's Yukari. You have Meteorahan, but she doesn't use it when needed. It is the most annoying thing in the world. She will constantly use Meteorahan on herself all the time and heal only herself instead of the party. That is the most frustrating thing in this fight. Because what happens is when you lose a shot to, let's say, buff your party or bring down Nyx's defenses because, Akihiko doesn't feel like doing that at the time because he doesn't want to bring down the defenses. You miss the chance for Nyx to waste a turn on himself. So Akihiko will instead, he would in my game at least, he would always boost our evasion. But when I don't need it, I didn't need that. And when he does that, it wastes a turn. It gives Nyx another turn to hit you twice, which is the bad part. There was points in the game where I was hit twice. The whole party was hit twice with the sword attack that can't be blocked, and Yukari would bait I'm depending on Yukari to heal the party. Yukari would straight up just heal herself, just herself. Everybody needs it, but it's just her. And I'm like, this is the problem, because what happens is when she heals herself, then everybody is just gonna heal themselves, or just me. And it's like, well, if you guys do that, then you're wasting time, not doing other things to him. So it makes the fight longer, it makes the fight more harder, and it makes the fight tedious and frustrating. Because the AI just doesn't do what is necessary in this fight for some reason. Sometimes, if it happened, it was like a godsend. It was like I was praying. Like, I was literally like on my knees like, Yukari, I need medium. I need it. I need it. Oh God, thank you. Jesus. Yes, you listen. Like, you shouldn't have to do that. You shouldn't have to pray for a heal. I mean, you shouldn't do that. Yukari should just not use the Arahan. Just heal the whole group. Heal the whole group. She was definitely the most frustrating thing in that fight. It was all her. Sometimes it was Aigis too, because a lot of times if I needed nobody in my party was attacking. The only attacker in my party was the main character, main protagonist. He was the only person who was doing damage to Nyx the whole fight. Everybody else was support and heals. That's it. Because what I was doing was I was using Loki the whole fight. So I would mind charge my protagonist, and then when the next turn hit, I would use Megadolian every turn. But because of Yukari and her stupid heals, wasting time. So that was my issues with the fight. That's really my only con with the fight. If it was Persona 3 portable, the fight wouldn't take long because I would have more control of the party and what they did. But I didn't. So it definitely makes the fight a lot more frustrating. Because the final boss is your party. Very much. it's your party and Nyx. Anyway, let's talk about the ending because I don't want this video to go on forever. So, you guys remember one of the videos I put up where a guy ruined the ending for me and he told me that the character died. So, a lot of other people say that he's either dead. But a lot of people say he's either dead or he's just sleeping. My thoughts on it, I will tell you. I have some thoughts about the ending. My thoughts on the ending is more of I don't think he's dead or anything like that. I think it's more subjective. What Atlas did was very creative. They left it up to the player's interpretation of what happened. To be honest with you, I don't really know. I don't really know. I have a theory, but I'm gonna save it for a special podcast that I'm gonna be on. We're gonna do a Persona 3 podcast on the Funny Nerds website sometime, and I think it's gonna be either sometime this week. We're gonna do a podcast, and I think I'm gonna leave some of my thoughts on there so you guys can listen to really what I have to say about the ending. I don't want to spoil it here, because I want to do it in the middle of this discussion because I think it'll be more interesting. But I do have my theory about the main character, and I can say this: I don't think that he's dead. If you really pay attention to the subjective themes of the whole game, I don't think he's dead. I will say that. But it depends on how you look at it. Really, if you are that kind of person, it is a form of death. But I'll explain that for the podcast, and I'll leave links below to Funny Nerd YouTube channel. But anyway, so yeah, that is my discussion. A little short. I don't know how long it's this discussion on Nyx. So I did beat Persona 3. You guys are probably wondering what's the next Megaten game I'm gonna go to. To be honest with you, I'm probably not gonna go to 4 right now. Not right now. I was gonna go to 4, but that last fight was just like, ugh. So I'm just gonna be like, you know what? Let me take a break from some RPGs for a second. Like, I don't know, adventure games or something. But I have started Devil Summoner 2, Raido Kuzunoa versus King Abaddon. I just started that, so I might finish that. I might go ahead and play that because I wanted to see what it looked like. I might go ahead and play that, or I might just have to do it and go ahead and play Shin Megami Tensei 2. Shin Megami Tensei 2 is one of my least favorite ones, but I never finished it, so I might go ahead and play that and show you guys some footage. Maybe I can get some footage going on that. A lot of you guys wanted me to do Shin Megami Tensei 1. I can do that. That game kind of frustrates me in the beginning and then through the middle, but I can probably do it. But yeah, why don't you guys leave comments down below and let me know. All right, what do you guys want to play? And maybe some 3DS games, a Strange Journey or something. I know somebody asked me about Strange Journey, but we'll see. I don't know. Let me know, guys. So I will see you guys next time. Peace.